In the attachment style space, so many people talk about fearful avoidant attachment styles, dismissive avoidance, and how they're emotionally unavailable at times, or even quite frequently. But nobody talks about the hidden yet very strong emotional unavailability that bubbles beneath the surface for pretty much every anxious attachment style. In today's video, we're gonna unpack that, and I'm gonna take you through these hidden ways that anxious attachment styles are actually quite emotionally unavailable, how it's sabotaging every good relationship that you have, and how you're actually blocking love at a subconscious level and don't even realize it. Understanding this core concept and what to do to change is literally going to transform your love life and every other relationship in your life in a very meaningful way. First and foremost, one of the first things you want to realize is that anybody who connects constantly through a mask is exhibiting some form of emotional unavailability. So this is reason number one. What you'll see is because APs are afraid of being abandoned, often they will connect through a mask where they won't actually show their true selves to people. If something hurt them, they may not actually share it. Or if they do, it will be when they've already been triggered about it for so long, but they've been kind of holding it inside for quite some time. And they'll tend to be scared to show their flaws, to truly let people in, to share some of their different insecurities, and to really open up about truly vulnerable things. And so connecting through a mask in these ways is the first way the AP is actually secretly emotionally unavailable. Number two, people pleasing. Anybody in the moment that they are people pleasing is not showing or sharing their true self. Some of this can be for a multitude of reasons. It can be that you don't know truly who you are in that moment, or what your need is, or what your boundary is, or maybe you're disconnected from your emotions in that moment. All of those things can be reasons for why. However, it's still really important to recognize that if I am people pleasing, I am still practicing this element of emotional unavailability. Now, before I go into the next three, I want to share with you one other thing here, which is that as long as you are emotionally unavailable in terms of these hidden ways that actually, as the anxious preoccupied, represent the emotional unavailability that you exhibit in the relationship to self first. In other words, if you don't know your feelings, your needs, you're not really standing up for yourself or backing yourself in real time, in these people pleasing and kind of wearing the mask ways, that actually represents more deeply that you're probably out of touch with yourself in those areas. As long as you are still emotionally unavailable to yourself, the relationship to yourself determines the number one point of attraction in your relationship to others. In other words, your subconscious mind is wired for familiarity. So the thing that you will literally invest in over time the most and be the most attracted to is people who treat you exactly the way that you treat yourself. So I just want to say on a side note here, the more emotionally unavailable you are to yourself, the more you're going to see that you're investing in people who are also emotionally unavailable to you. And I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Because if I don't share with my significant other, what is going on for me, how can they possibly know what I need? How can they possibly know how to support me if I'm not opening up about those things, right? So hopefully you can see this theme in here. So number three, sort of place of emotional unavailability for APs is being without boundaries. And I think it's really important to recognize as well that if you are not expressing boundaries, this will boomerang later. I think anxious preoccupied individuals think that they can go a long time without communicating boundaries to others, and it's fine. But the reality is what you don't communicate in terms of boundaries in real time with people will show up as more anxiety later. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are dating somebody and you don't like the way that they are texting so often, really late at night, the friend that they work with that you don't know who it is or you haven't met. In that situation, if you don't express something and say like, hey, we're in a relationship. I think it's fine if you want to have friends or text with other people. But I think like if it's a person you could potentially be romantically interested in, like, let's not speak late at night because it could send the wrong message or whatever it is. Like, let's say that that's something you would want to express, just as an example. If you don't express it, if you don't set a boundary or say, hey, there's a certain line in the sand here between friendship and something maybe bordering on inappropriate, if you don't communicate that, it's just going to build up as anxiety, and you're going to think about it over the course of days and hours and weeks. And eventually it's just going to come out as some kind of other activating behavior that's probably going to accidentally push somebody away further, because the reality is you don't feel safe being vulnerable enough to communicate your boundary in real time. You don't feel safe enough to actually say what's going on for you. And so, that is a huge source of emotional unavailability, and it's going to cause your anxiety to really build up in the background. Number four is what you don't know you can't show. Okay. So, in other words, if you don't know different things about yourself, how you're feeling, what your boundaries are, what you're looking for in a relationship, what your standards are, what your non negotiables are, if you don't know these things, you can't show yourself to other people. And it will leave you feeling chronically unseen, unheard, and misunderstood in your relationships and your love life, which is a really painful thing to feel. And the more you feel that way, the more it's going to come out as activating strategies as well. So, you might think that you're people pleasing in the near term, but the reality is, the less you actually express who you are or come to know who you are so that you can share it, the less true connection is being fostered long term. And honestly, the more detrimental it can be to your relationship. I just wanted to pop in here and let you know we are doing a 7-day free trial to the All Access Membership Pass at PDS, which means you get access to literally everything inside of the school. And this includes the 4 live webinars I do with our students every single week. And on top of that, you get access to all of our different courses. We have over 55 different courses on relationships, communication, boundaries, emotional mastery, guilt and shame, learning your needs, so many different facets that are really important to master our lives and feel really good about our lives going forward. And last but not least, there's a daily community event. We have trained facilitators and coaches who are in there doing that work, showing up to support you on your journey every single day. And along with 7-day free trial access, you literally get to keep as a gift for free for life our Reparenting Your Inner Child course, which helps you go really deep into understanding yourself, your deep inner patterns and where they came from, and doing some profound subconscious rewiring work so you can change your wounds at the root and move the needle to actually build the best relationships of your life, starting with the relationship to yourself. Click the link below to get started today. Number 5, the hidden way that the AP is emotionally unavailable is when they don't express their needs. So we talked about boundaries. We talked about what you don't know, you can't show, but needs being a very specific thing in terms of what your needs are in a relationship, even like your love languages, like, how you like to give and receive love. If you're needing reassurance or you're needing more time spent together or you're needing more transparency in the way that you communicate, all of those things are needs. And until we have the language to know what our needs are, we can't share them. And again, the more that's just going to lead to us feeling disconnected as individuals. So definitely a myth that anxious preoccupieds are completely emotionally available at all times. They can be very available for connection, but oftentimes in these limited ways with these hidden elements of emotional unavailability in the recesses of the relationship. So I hope this made sense to you. I hope this is helpful for you. If you have questions down below, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you about other topics you want to see on this channel, anything like that. And thank you so much for stopping by. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel if you're enjoying this content. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos.